What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today I will be reviewing Gremlins. So without further ado, let's get into it. Gremlins was released in 1984. It was directed by Joe Dante and Steven Spielberg was the executive producer. And in my personal opinion, Gremlins can be classed as a Christmas film. It is set around the Christmas period and it's based around little monsters terrorising a small American town on Christmas Eve. And in my opinion, it's a fantastic example of a horror comedy. It has some genuinely scary moments as well as some really funny moments which will have you falling around laughing. Today I thought I would give a review of this film because I think it's a really great film and definitely one to check out during the Christmas holidays. The characters in this film are really well done. I love Billy in this film. He is the main character and he's just great. He's a typical geeky, nervous kind of guy who's just trying to get by, and I like it. There's nothing wrong with this character and I think he's very funny but also very brave as well, so I really like him. His relationship with Kate is also very, very cute. It's heartwarming to see them get together at Christmas. I think that's great. Plus, I'm very nervous and shy myself, so especially in the scene where he asks Kate out, you can see that he's over the moon, but he's also very nervous and trying to play as if, you know, it's not that big a deal. He's not that chuffed about it, but you can tell in his eyes that he is. Billy's family as well, his mum and dad, that feels like a proper family unit. There's a lot of scenes in this film between the three of them as they sit down and kind of interact in the house with one another, and I think it's perfect. It feels like a real family, which is amazing. Gizmo, he became a star, let's face it. Gizmo's iconic, very funny character. Plus, he stands up to the Gremlins as well, which is great. And speaking of the Gremlins, the monsters that the film is named after, they can be funny one minute and absolutely terrifying the next, which is perfect. I love the Gremlins in this film. They became icons and there's some genuinely funny moments with them in this film. And that is why I would give character development a 10 out of 10 because I love all the characters in this film. They're just amazing. Zach Galligan portrays Billy Peltzer in this film and he's really good in the role. He just plays such a great nervous kind of character and I think that's amazing. Phoebe Cates as Kate is also really well done, especially the scene in which she talks about how her father died on Christmas and that's why she doesn't like Christmas. Beautifully acted scene by her, which is done really well. Hoyt Axton and Lee McCain, they portray Billy's parents. They have great chemistry with one another, even if they're not in a lot of scenes together. And as I said, they make that family relationship feel real. It feels like a genuine family. Howie Mandel portrays Gizmo. Did an amazing job in this film as Gizmo. Love his voice in this. And of course, Frank Welker portrayed the main Gremlin, Stripe. He did a really good job as well. Stripe as the main villain, the leader of the Gremlins in this film, identified by the white stripe on his head. I think he's a really great villain. And Frank Welker, you'd expect Frank Welker to give a fantastic performance, and he does. So I'd give the performances a 10 out of 10. All of the main actors are really good, and the voice actors for Gizmo and Stripe, they're on point as well. I don't think anyone can knock this film for the effects because the puppetry at work, I would say, is first class. I'm a massive fan of practical effects and that is something which Gremlins excels at, especially when you think this film was released in 1984. So the puppetry is done really, really well. I'd say it still holds up to this day. Plus the designs are really good as well. Gizmo's design is great. I like when the other Mogwais are introduced. Gizmo looks different to them, which I think was necessary. The other Mogwais look a lot more sinister than Gizmo does, and I think that was a good little touch. The Gremlins, I like the fact that the Gremlins have one design because it means that their leader, Stripe, who is identified by a white stripe of hair, stands out, which I think is good because it makes Stripe appear superior over the rest. The Gremlins have a great design because they are creepy. They do look quite terrifying. So I'm a fan of the designs of the Gremlins and Gizmo in this film. Plus the puppetry at work is first class. This film's story is very well paced, which is a great thing. I like what they do with the town in this film because it feels like a small American town. Everyone knows one another, which I think was really well done. Even simple scenes like Billy walking down the road and just saying hi to someone in the village. That just shows that this town is interconnected and everyone knows one another, at least in the village. I like the fact that when the Gremlins are introduced, you do not see them at first. You see the cocoons hatching, which is a really great scene. I would say one of the scariest scenes in the film. You see glimpses of the Gremlins, but you don't see them fully. That means that their reveal is very much anticipated because, of course, you haven't seen them. It's very well teased what they look like. I would say that this film has a good balance to it. I like that it sets up the idea of the Gremlins, but then the last half of the film is basically the Gremlins causing trouble and scene after scene of funny moments involving the Gremlins. So I think that was a good choice. Very well paced film and a very Christmassy film as well. As I said, I like Billy and Kate's relationship. That carries the film a lot. It's just a really fun and exciting film. It has some great terrifying moments in it, but plenty of funny moments as well. So I would give the story and writing for this film a 10 out of 10 because I can't really fault it. It's very well paced and a really enjoyable film to watch. So for this film's special recognition, it has to be about the Gremlins. Now, the Gremlins are standout. They became iconic because of this film, and I can see why. They can be funny one minute and terrifying the next. I know that I've said that a couple of times in this review, but I really want to reiterate the fact that these creatures are just amazing. There's so many funny moments. I particularly like the scenes in the pub with the Gremlins. There's so many classic moments in that, including the stripper Gremlin. I think that's just amazing. I also like Stripe and the fact that they gave him a white piece of hair because it shows that he has dominance over all of the other Gremlins. Plus, Billy's mum took out 3 Gremlins on her own. So she really is a badass. You know, if she hadn't been jumped on by that Gremlin in the Christmas tree, you know, we wouldn't have had this film because she would have just taken them all out. So for the Gremlins and Billy's mum being a badass, I'm going to give this special recognition a 10 out of 10 because, the Gremlins are iconic in this film. So in conclusion, Gremlins is a prime example of how to do a horror comedy. Gizmo and the Gremlins became iconic because of this film, and it's easy to see why. It has some genuinely funny moments, as well as plenty of horror elements as well, which is really good. I love the characters in this film. The village, the town of Kingston Falls feels very well connected. Everyone seems to know one another. The fact that it's set on Christmas is amazing because it does have a Christmassy and heartwarming feel to it as well as plenty of terror, which is just what you want. So that is why Gremlins gets a very well-deserved 50 out of 50, which gives it a grade 1 ranking. Honestly, Gremlins, you made an iconic Christmas film with this one. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed my Gremlins movie review. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. And I will see you in another one. See ya!